Welcome everyone to the November 3rd Rotary meeting. November 3rd, that means it's voting day, so if you haven't already, get out and cast your vote. All right, so we'll get started with singing of the national anthem, followed by the pledge. And invocation with R.C.
Heavenly Father, let us widen our circles of interest and broaden our spheres of service. Teach our members that we need not to be rich, to be generous, especially with our time. That service to others is the rent we must pay for the space we occupy, and that it is not the talented, but the dedicated who serve you best. We thank you for this food, and may it strengthen us in our service to you and this community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thanks, R.C. And music with Randy and Glenn maybe helping? I don't know, but music with Randy.
I'll do the first one. Okay. Election day. I couldn't hear much going on up from in back there, so get your voices out. First song we're going to do, God Bless America. I know you all know it. You don't need the words or the music. We're going to sing God Bless America, okay? Here we go. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountain to the prairie, to the ocean white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Well, Glenn texted me the other day and said, let's do a song that you know that we've done before. You want to tell the story of it, Glenn?
All right. Well, first of all, since we have the Business Bureau of our wonderful, beautiful Cadillac, I thought we'd pull this one out, which I still have, which we sang at the time of the dedication of the pavilion. So we'll sing the first verse and then probably Nostalgia, and we'll do the second verse too. It's to the tune of Old Christmas Tree. So,
Oh, Cadillac, oh, Cadillac, oh, how we love our city. In winter, spring, and summertime, we're so admire your beauty. The autumn leaves their colors bring, your lakes and trees of thee we sing. Oh, Cadillac, oh, Cadillac, oh, how we love our city. We've come to celebrate today and hail the new pavilion. We dedicate the Rotary Performing Arts Pavilion. Oh, may its music fill the air, bring joy, laughter everywhere, as artists come their gifts to share, the arts with pleasure everywhere. All right, and if you remember, we actually were able to sing in the pavilion as a group, which was pretty cool. So, special time. Thanks, Glenn, for bringing that.
That's great.
Back to you.
Yes, thank you, Randy. Thank you, Glenn. Awesome. Awesome song. I didn't have one in front of me, so I was mumbling along, but that was great. Great. I don't think we have any visiting Rotarians today, but I am excited to say that we do have our junior Rotarians back. It's exciting to see you. So we have Megan. You just want to give a wave. Megan, Isabella, and Ben, and Maddie. And they're not going to say much today because they are actually our program next week. They're going to talk about kind of just what's been happening with them, COVID, the impacts on them, and so forth. So try to make it next week, support our junior Rotarians. It'll be a great program. We are in a new month. It is the month of November. As I mentioned, today is voting day, but it is November. So does anybody have any birthdays in November that we can sing to? No November birthdays. Anniversaries? Somebody had to have gotten married in November, right? Wow. All right. No birthdays, no anniversaries. Brag for bucks. Does anybody have anything today that they would like to brag about? Randy.
You get the mic.
All right. Now, some of you may misunderstand or misinterpret the red today, meaning that I am of the red persuasion politically. But you would be wrong. Not because of that necessarily, but you would be wrong because the red is in honor of my alma mater, which once every 100 years has a good football team. Indiana University is undefeated, ranked, and I'm bragging about them before they play Ohio State and all goes out the window.
Great, thanks, Randy. Not much to brag about if you're a Michigan fan from this past weekend, but we won't go there. Any other brag for bucks? If not, I'm going to turn it over to Caitlin, who is our sergeant today for the month of November. So she looks like she's ready to collect some money, so get your wallets out.
I'm always prepared for that. All right, Anya would like to be a guest today and help us out with our raffle. Well, if I brought my wallet. No, I already asked it. Oh.
All I have to do is pick the ticket. Lucky ticket.
No pressure. 851-867.
867. That's 3. Hey, Randy is the lucky guy. All right.
You want to see my ticket too? I'll come up to you.
Yeah, you have to verify that, right? Make sure it's right.
How about we get the paints and stuff?
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yep. I was going to do rotary, get everybody moving.
Well, we want to do that celebratory dance before we get started, right? All right.
Okay.
Very quickly now. I've lost control.
Oh.
Oh, yours.
Better luck next time, Randy. You got it.
All right, team. I'll take it later. All right, we got 3 finds today. If you haven't yet voted, if you were wearing blue and gold on Saturday, and if you haven't yet pulled out your winter boots. Anyone feeling it? Yes.
Didn't quite get the boots out yet.
Don't worry, you're not alone in any of the above.
It looks like I owe you 2 bucks. Right? You took your 290.
Cheers.
Paying for me today.
You gotta document these shenanigans back here.
What's that?
You gotta document the shenanigans going on back here. A lot of giggling.
You're a pod.
Yeah, right?
No worries, guys, there's a lot in here, you're not alone.
All right, well, thank you, sergeants. And community announcements. Do we have any community announcements? Oh, Mike has one.
So on your table, you have a nice flyer for our alternative to Dancing with the Y, our Dancing with Myself event this year. So, like I said last week, we normally would have had a big party in the Wex with dancers, but that's not the thing to do. So these 10 individuals are a cast for this year. They all recorded a short 30 to 45 second dance on their own. It's online starting yesterday. So 6 videos a day for 5 days. So they really put themselves out there to support the community, support the Y. So go to the website, $5 a vote. Vote early, vote often. That's allowed in this type of voting. So please do that. This is our big fundraising event of the year that we kind of substitute with this instead, the live event. So we really use your support. So thank you very much. And if you give it, vote at least $50 worth, Jim, hold up your bundle of t-shirts there. You get a commemorative Dancing with Myself t-shirt. So who wants to have a t-shirt, representing 2020? Because it was such a great year so far. You can get one of those for a $50 donation. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mike. Any other community announcements? If not, any Rotary announcements? I have a couple, but I'll see if there's others out there first. What's that, Doreen?
You need a mic.
Yeah.
So Rotary, they're actually made blankets, like physical time blankets that we're going to deliver to the police department and fire departments and the fire association and Wisconsin this year.
Awesome. That's a great project. Outstanding. Anything else in the Rotary announcements? Like I said, I have a couple. Just the first thing is I did send out the guidelines that were sent to me by the WEX this morning, just because of the executive orders. Now they have a maximum of 50, which doesn't really impact us because, as you can see, we do not have 50 here. But just try to keep your social distancing, mask wearing, and all that stuff. Auction update, we are still doing our auction this year in the spring. It's going to look a little different. It's going to be a virtual auction. We're actually going to be talking soon with Houghton Lake, right, Susan? Yeah, we're going to talk with the Houghton Lake Club next week because they did a virtual auction. Sounds like it was very successful, so we're going to talk with them, see how they did it, get some ideas for that. And then actually the meeting presentation on the 17th will be the auction. So in 2 weeks we're going to kind of kick it off and start talking about our annual auction. I'm just going to keep promoting the Salvation Army and the Bell Ringers, even though we're not passing around the hard copy. You can go to registertoring.com to help them out if you'd like to do that. And John Catlin. John, can I have you come up? So I think everybody knows in here, because I've given a few presentations as other presidents as well, but a Paul Harris Fellow is someone who gives $1,000 a year to our Rotary Foundation. What did I say?
$1,000 total.
Oh, I'm sorry, total. Per year would be nice though, wouldn't it?
That's the Paul Harris Society number.
That's society. Okay, $1,000 towards the foundation, right? Well, I have this pin to present to John Catlin. There's 5 different stones in it, and what that means is that's a Paul Harris Fellow plus 5. So John has met that $1,000 5 times. So 6 times, sorry, 6 times. So, would you? So anyway, I do want to present this to John. Awesome. John does tons of stuff for Rotary, we know that. This is just one of the many things he does for the club and for the district and international. So John, I'd like to just present you with that pin. You're welcome. Thank you, John. And with that, Doreen, do you want to introduce our guest speakers today?
I also wanted to say that for our, what was it called? Yeah. Pints for Polio.
Pints for Polio.
Jeez, I mean,
focus to different locations. We were very nervous about doing it.
Great.
I want to introduce the Visitors Bureau, the Cadillac Area Visitors, Kathy Moran and Anya Wade. Kathy is the Convention and Meetings Director, and Anya is Accounting Office Manager. If you want to know something, she knows it, go to her. So I want to introduce them to talk about what's going on with the Visitors Bureau.
Can you hear me?
Yep, right there.
Well, this has certainly been an interesting year. We're raising one for our staff at the Visitors Bureau. As you may know, that Joy has taken a different position with the United States Forest Service. So she left a couple of weeks ago, and being that we're under the COVID situation, the board decided to not hire an executive director as yet, and that we have sort of taken over parts of her position. Overview of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, Cadillac. I said Convention, yes. Cadillac Visitors Bureau. We're organized under PA 59, which allows us to collect 5% of the room rates in 16 different properties that we currently have. We're not government funded. We strictly, our budget is based on the assessments that we receive from our properties. Our marketing reach is to Wellston, to Merritt, to Manton, and Leroy. So, you know, Mike and I are covered. We are the marketing organization for the region, also known as the DMO, which is the Destination Marketing Organization, to bring visitors to our lodging properties, our restaurants, event facilities, and recreation. Before COVID hit, we were at a record pace as far as revenue from assessments. We were on pace to collect almost $500,000 in assessments, most of which is used to market the organization and the area. So when COVID hit, most of our properties shut down, and so our revenue was greatly decreased. And we had a good summer, we had a good fall because Mother Nature decided to help us out. So our revenues are on the uptick somewhat, but we're probably going to be looking at half of what we would have had last year. I think that's about all that I was going to talk about. Any questions on that part?
Again, my name is Kathy Moran. I am the group sales manager. Clearly, there's not a whole lot of group events happening across the state. So with Joy's departure, I've taken over the marketing. And so with that, it's in a way kind of weird good timing. It'd be, as Anya alluded to, the fall campaign went really, really well. We had beautiful colors, as you all saw. And as you know, with COVID, people were wanting to get out and get outside, and so people were using trails and recreation. The golf courses had record years. I had heard the Sleeping Lagoons had more visitors this past July than they did even last year. So thankfully, we're up in an area where people can get out and have recreational opportunities. We're hoping the same for the winter. Cabernet, as you may or may not have known, they have to operate on a much more stringent operating capacity this year, which will definitely affect our properties. But thankfully they are operating, and we are really, really just hoping for some great snow for the snowmobiling, cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, fat tire biking, that kind of thing, and then obviously ice fishing happens naturally as well. So we wrapped up the fall campaign and it went really, really well. And again, you may have not seen it, but that's because you're already here. We're marketing to other areas across the state to get people to come here. So then the winter campaign, it'll be about 10 or 12 weeks, starting later in November. And just, again, the same kind of thing, getting people up to the Cadillac area, getting out and about, and staying at our properties, going to the restaurants as we can, hopefully maybe some takeout. And really just enjoying our area safely and keeping, we really want to keep our staff and our community safe, but at the same time, There are a lot of jobs and a lot of revenue that depends on people coming to our community. So we do have something fun. I can't tell you what it is going to be yet because we're still finishing it up, but we do have some fun things, changing it up a little bit because as we know this year we can't keep doing things the same, and now we're going to be launching something really fun in the winter time, and we'll share that with you in the future. I would ask that, and if any of you have been on Chambers stuff, rise up or wind down, you've heard this, really being compassionate and kind to our hospitality staff. As you know, a lot of these properties, restaurants and hotels struggle anyway with getting frontline staff. Even more so now, and even more so when customers are rude and obnoxious and yelling at them because they have to provide their phone number now, and now they have to wear a mask, and whether or not they agree or disagree, they're just frontline staff really trying to work. So my message to so many people nowadays is please just be kind, be patient. Also support the businesses now more than ever because the revenues, they're down, and their capacities inside are down. And now many of them can't have outdoor seating in the wintertime. So we will need people to help take out orders, sit inside and eat if you're able to, gift cards, and now more than ever, really just supporting the local businesses in the local community to help keep them going through the winter and the spring. And then also, like my group sales hat back on. In the future, when we can start meeting a little more people, if there are groups that you're part of, whether it's a social club, a car club or something from across the state, or a professional association that you might be involved in, or a business where you might have corporate sales meetings or corporate district meetings or things like that, please, I'd ask that you consider Cadillac for that. We do have some fantastic facilities. Once you really put them all together, you might not realize how many we have. We have at least 20 that we can put. Obviously this is the WEX is a fantastic facility for a larger capacity, but all sizes, indoors, outdoors, and some really cool improvements that people have been making to keep working towards that. So, our office helps facilitate those connections. So if somebody said, hey, I want to have a meeting for 50 people for 2 days in May of next year, my job is to go and contact the facilities and pull together proposal information and hand it to you so that you're not making 6 phone calls and trying to chase people down. And that's my job. That's what we do. There's no cost. We just really want to facilitate resources for people to come and do business in Cadillac and stay in Cadillac and those kinds of things. So we've had a lot of that with our manufacturing in the past. Again, things have changed a bit, and COVID's kind of put a damper on some of those things in industry associations and that. But when it's time, and when we start planning forward, really would appreciate your consideration and help to again help infuse our local economy. So I think that was it. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, yes. The golf courses, Phil at Evergreen said they had a record year. It was insane because people wanted to get outside. And as quickly as they could get outside, people are out on the golf courses. I had stopped by there this morning to talk with them, and they still had people calling. They wanted a tee time for today, and they said, well, you know what, there's snow on the course. So we didn't wait until maybe 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon. And a couple of the courses have already closed, but people are still trying to inch out that last little bit. So that was one of the things that truly saved us. In the summertime, we do have a lot of golf groups. People that are coming from around the state, maybe it's a group of 12 guys or 24, or that kind of thing. And a lot of those groups still came. And Evergreen and all the other courses and other lodging properties, and we have their strict protocol. Okay, this is what we need to do. And to our knowledge, really, there was no major instances of an outbreak of a group of 24 people golfing from Grand Rapids did a spreader or anything like that. So I think it went really well. We still were able to hold a lot of weddings in the area. those in reduced capacity, but people kind of we make do, we get through it. Yeah, I mean, so we're just in that balancing position of wanting people to come here and do things, but also be safe. I know this weekend in the WEX, we have hockey tournaments. When they bring in 8 teams, they used to do 12, but this year they're stepping it back to do 8 because of the capacity. But that's 8 teams staying 2 nights in our lodging properties, and that, quite honestly, the lodging property will not have anybody here the first couple weeks of November. It's past golf, not quite snow. So we will take what we can get, and hopefully we'll continue to do it safely. Yes.
Do you have any way to track the usage of trails like the White Pine Trail and the Vocational Center Trail and some of the different trails in the area? Is there any way you can gather information on the numbers using it if it's up this year?
I don't believe that the DNR keeps track of those kinds of things. But just anecdotally, we know that they were very, very busy. Like you said, they wanted to be outside as much as possible. So that's not anything that we track in-house. We do a lot of Google Analytics and everything that we do, but not necessarily on the DNR trails and some of those other kinds of things that are out there. We had a very successful fall tour campaign where we had 4 different routes set out around the 2 counties, and we were getting phone calls and emails every day. One gentleman, he would call me every week, which one should I do today? We did all 4 of them. So that was, motivation to cooperate in that fashion. So we can track some of that kind of stuff.
You have a calendar. Can you tell us what you want on the calendar and what should go on the calendar? So we know we're on all kinds of committees for the community. So we know our on the calendar or no, it's not. Can you kind of give us
I would say, if you track Dorian's questions about our event calendar, currently we are adding a lot.
I've added 73 the last month.
73.
Yeah.
Wow. So normally, we wouldn't necessarily do the smaller local events. We were trying to do more of the bigger events, the festivals. Unfortunately, because those aren't happening, and we want to be more inclusive than exclusive right now. We put pretty much all the events that you see on Facebook, the family farm out in Falmouth as a kids' day, or the craft shows and things like that that are smaller. They're not likely going to bring somebody from Kalamazoo to Cadillac specifically because of a craft show, as where the craft beer festival would have. So yeah, right now we're really going into this. It's a lot more community because that's what we have. And in really moving forward, it's more inclusive than exclusive because none of us are in a position right now to really say, no, we're not going to help this small business because you can't pay to be a marketing partner with us. The fee for marketing partnerships for the tourism-related businesses is so minor compared to just we need to wrap our arms more around people to help all of us. So,
I can explain a little bit how that works. So you can get your event. If you do have an event that is community related, you can go to our website and add your event. It will come to me, and then I decide who gets on, who doesn't. And most of them go up, and they're really all community type events or events that bring people to the area. But that's as simple as that. The other thing that we just had a webinar on, we have a large media file on our website, and if you have a nice picture that you think might work for our media and our advertising, then you can upload that picture. You can also access to see if you need a picture for something. They're also available on our website. It's a very simple operation to do that. So I've been picking off pictures from Facebook, ask for permission, and then we post them on our media site. That's accessible to everybody. Any other questions? Thanks for having us.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
Well, Kathy and Anya, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate that. That was great. Thank you all again for being here. I do want to thank our junior Rotarians, Megan and Isabella and Ben and Maddie, and we're looking forward to having you back next week to hear from you and a little bit about your experiences. Just a couple quick reminders. If you didn't, I think just what everybody did, but if you didn't sign in, please make sure you do sign in. The WEX does require that, and I just have to send that in to them. Congratulate John again for 6 Paul Harris Fellows. That's awesome and outstanding. If you could stick around for a few minutes and help after, we do have to fold up and put away all the tables and chairs. The more people we have to help, the easier and quicker it is if you can. And next week, like I said, it's going to be our Junior Rotarians program. We'll be right back here on Tuesday at 12 o'clock. And with that, we'll go ahead and close by singing Smiles. Smile, and the world smiles with you. Sing a song. Don't be weary, just be cheery all day long. Whenever your trials, your troubles, and your cares seem to be more